To this now. The deadline for Spaza shop registrations has now passed, but officials say this is just the beginning. A thorough verification process will follow to ensure compliance and safety. The registration drive was launched in response to various food poisoning cases across the country, many of which were fatal. Many Spaza shop owners and informal traders have bemoaned the process of registering their enterprises. We earlier spoke to Rosheda Muller, the president of the National Informal Traders Alliance of South Africa, NITASA, and this is what she had to say.
It's a very heavy cloud on the informal economy workers. And once again, you know, from people like ourselves who are on the ground and working with all informal sectors across the country, I still believe that the government is not very much aware of how huge, how mammoth this project is. The Spaza shops and the food handlers are huge. It's hundreds and hundreds of thousands across the country. And as you have said earlier, many of them were not able to complete the documentation. If you look, for example, and it is a well-known fact, that the foreign traders, the non-South African traders, let's call it that, the non-South African traders are the ones who may not have the correct paperwork, which means they first have to go through the what we call it, Home Affairs system. And then, you know, that is a very big struggle as well. So at the moment, there are many still unregistered. And also one needs to look at the difference between Spaza shop and food handler on the ground. The food handlers on the ground are the vendors, the street traders, the informal street traders at the taxi ranks along the streets who are selling the magonias, buying the meat, selling the chips and cool drinks. And there's, I could say, a million of them or more. The sector is over 5.5 million. So the food sector is a huge part. And at the moment, you know, the registration it's cumbersome. While it is correct to have all businesses that are formalized to go through the process of SABC, tax clearance, etc., and as we have said, if you become formalized as a non-South African business in South Africa, you have to put an investment of 5 million in. Now that is definitely not currently happening. So that's so chaos. Even the municipalities, they cannot cope. The capacity isn't there from the local government perspective.
Rosheda, when the president had initially announced this intervention, he announced that post the deadline, the Spaza shops that were not registered will be shut down by law enforcement in the country, and only those who have been registered will be able to continue to trade and operate. That intervention is expected to now kick in, as announced by the president initially, unless, of course, stated otherwise by the president and or the Minister of Small Business Development. Should that begin to happen, particularly Spaza shop owners who are actually South African nationals who've not been able to register their businesses because of zoning issues or whatever the case may be, what recourse is available for them at the moment? Is that something that the alliance you're a part of has been able to apply its mind to?
Yes, indeed. We're thinking about it all the time. And, you know, as early as Monday morning, we would definitely put out a letter to the minister herself, because I don't think they quite understand how onerous the processes are. And many Spaza shops, especially our local South Africans, maybe they live very far from the local municipality, and for them to get there, they might not even have the necessary transport, or, you know, some of them need assistance. So what we've done here in Cape Town, we have made it very clear to our municipality and worked hand in hand with our environmental health that the workshops on the education and skills development of food safety and security needs to be done on first, and then the government, the local government, should then assist that person who's trading on a permitted area to be registered. So that's what we've done, but not all over the country has that happened. But it would be a sad day if we are not listened to. It would be a sad day if government take the order, which is correct because there has been tragedies, but there's been age-old stories. Why the wake up now? The wake up now, and it's going to continue. Spaza shops is here to stay. And of course, there needs to be an increase of local Spaza shops to be developed in our local areas, as many of our locals are fronting for the non-South Africans.